Hi and welcome to this Formula One podcast. This podcast is a part of Popecast Sports. I'm Oscar, and as usual, I'm joined by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Daniel, and we're here today to talk about the upcoming British Grand Prix. But as usual, we're going to start off with the last Grand Prix that was held in Austria. Now, this was the first race for two things. First, no DNFs. First time this happened this season. But more importantly, it was the first race with an other victor than a Mercedes. And it was Max Verstappen on the Red Bull's home circuit. He managed, just like last year, he managed to win in, well, I don't know how he does it, to be fair, because the Red Bull shouldn't be that good, but apparently it is, or at least he is around this circuit. And even though he started second on the grid, he dropped down to eighth during the first lap after a really bad start and fought his way back and passed Leclerc for the lead and then win with 2 laps to spare. So, but amazing drive by Verstappen in the end. And yeah, I'm kind of glad it was him actually. I've been saying that he's the best driver on the grid right now, together with Hamilton. And when it is the first time someone would beat the Mercedes, it's him. So I like that.
Yeah, I'm really satisfied because I really wanted someone else than Mercedes to win this. For once, I have nothing against Mercedes, like we have said before, but it's getting boring. And that
Yeah,
they actually missed the two first spots totally. That's also a really good thing.
yeah, and it was because Leclerc with a Ferrari was just way faster.
Yeah,
And
and Verstappen's car seemed to have some weird kind of turbo mode on just this circuit.
yeah, yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Red Bull, but it's really good around the Red Bull ring.
Yeah.
But I can touch on that because yeah, Leclerc got passed by Verstappen with 2 laps to go, and I think that is down to Ferrari defending against the wrong driver because Valtteri Bottas came into pit early in the race, and Ferrari decided to pit Leclerc at the same time to try to cover him. And that meant that he had, in the end of the race, way older tires than Verstappen had when he finally caught up. Which one I think allowed Verstappen to catch up to Leclerc and even more to pass him and pull away. So a mistake there by Ferrari perhaps that cost them the possible win for Leclerc, but that is also a thing. There were two drivers fighting for this, and none of them were Mercedes, which is also fun to see.
Yeah, we need more. Maybe we really need more of that during this season because we want a tight race, and yeah, it's funnier that way.
Yeah. And so yeah, this is the second time Leclerc has been close to winning and not doing it. So hopefully it's his turn as well, because soon. He was close in Bahrain before his car let him down, and he was close in Austria. And yeah, I think soon it's going to be his time because after, like he said a few weeks back, that he tried too hard. He pushed himself too hard in the early qualifying session. He lost in the qualify in Q3, and he lost in the race really. And since then, he's changed focus, and now all of a sudden he's way faster again. So he might be onto something now. And I can't wait to see Leclerc on the top of the podium because
Yeah, he has deserved it.
yeah,
If you all remember that race when he was cleared in number one, and then the car just broke down on him.
yeah, he has been the fastest the entire weekend in Bahrain, and then just the part of the engine just break down, loses his top speed. Yeah, but yeah, moving on, we have, as earlier mentioned, Valtteri Bottas coming in on third position, less than a second from Vettel, who was fifth behind Lewis Hamilton, which then finished fifth, with just 2 laps to go. Vettel passed Hamilton with on lap 70 out of 71 and almost caught up to Bottas as well. And if it wasn't for a very another mistake by Ferrari, sadly. In that same Bottas-Leclerc pit stop, Ferrari also decided to pit Vettel as a double stack, but they weren't ready. The tires weren't ready, and instead of the normal, say 2.5 maybe pit stop, it took 6 seconds. And in the end, he was less than a second off Bottas. So if they did that pit stop, really, if they actually were ready, we could actually see a Ferrari 2-3, and that would be even better. So seeing that way, two mistakes that cost Ferrari not only the win by pitting Leclerc too early, but also Vettel to be on the podium.
Yeah, that could have been
So,
important point for them. Really important point for them in the fight against Mercedes.
Yeah. That's they were absolutely on a circuit that, for some reason, I don't know why. We talked about what I thought about this circuit coming into this race in last episode, and I thought the Ferrari would be slightly better on the track, but sector 2, would be Mercedes and everything. But it wasn't that. It was something else that just Mercedes weren't quick, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what is so weird for Mercedes on the Red Bull Ring, but yeah, for some
like
reason they're not fast.
This circuit seems to be their kryptonite or something.
Yeah, and I don't know enough about setups, about the cars, about I don't know if it's I don't know, could it be height over the sea, whatever. I don't know what is causing Mercedes to be so weak here, but yeah, Ferrari had a chance, and yeah, they finished second and fourth, but they had a run for first and third. So yeah.
Yeah, but still, I'm really happy that we got someone else on the first place now.
Yes.
On this race at least. And McLaren continues to amaze.
Yeah.
They're getting points.
Yeah, and not just getting points. Lando Norris sixth, ahead of Pierre Gasly in the second Red Bull. Carlos Sainz eighth after starting 15th, after he had an earlier grid penalty that was up before quali started. So I mean, McLaren looks just really good right now. And the drivers are getting the max out of the car every single race at the moment. And it's really fun to see.
Yeah, it's really fun to see. But once again, if you're going to mention something interesting, Magnussen finishing between the Williams.
Yeah, yeah, dropping down the order. Magnussen qualifying fifth. You heard that correctly. He qualified fifth in front of this race. He had a penalty. I don't remember if it was 5 or 10 positions, and I can't find a way to look it up, sadly. But he did get moved down, but still dropping to 19th, in between the Williams, as you just said. Grosjean in 16th, just Kvyat behind him, except for the three already mentioned. I mean, I don't know what's happened to Haas, but at the moment, their place at second last in the constructors is correct, looking at the car they have right now, which is weird to say when we, before the season, saw them as fighting for the best of the rest. And right now, they even got beaten by Williams.
Yeah, so, I really don't know what's happening here with Haas.
No.
I'm still hoping that they will pull themselves together. But I'm starting to really doubt them.
Well, sometime they gotta get it together. I'm pretty sure of it. But the question is, how long and how much points will they have lost?
Yeah, is it too late? Probably.
Well, I won't say that. Still, there's not too many points in the midfield battle. They're not Okay, it's still points up to, say, McLaren in fourth, but I mean they have half the points of Renault in fifth, and those points they only got in 2 races. So I mean, there's fully potential for them to catch up again and start challenging, but they got to do it soon. I still feel like, and because if nothing else, maybe the car gets up, but how good is their confidence going to be in the car if it's constantly letting them down like it is right now?
Yeah, like this is such a surprise for me, them being down there. So I really, they need a boost, and they need it now to save this.
Yeah.
Because Williams have already achieved their goal, in my opinion.
They have not finished last of every single race.
Exactly, that's a realistic goal for them. Sadly, I wish they were better than that.
Yeah.
If I would have chosen, like, we might have had same car for every team. But that's a whole other topic, or at least more similar cars.
Yeah, that is the goal, I think, with the upcoming regulations coming for 2021. But that is still, 2 years away, 2 seasons away, I should say.
Yeah,
So,
I want it
yeah,
to be more about the driver.
yeah, me too. Because that is really the interesting thing. It's not the car they drive, it's the driver.
Yeah,
How daring are they? How good are they to get the max out of the car? Like, that's what's fun to watch.
yeah.
So,
And I think if it were up to that, Verstappen and Hamilton would be up there all the time.
oh yes. Like Hamilton, yes, he isn't the best car at the moment, but he's still also one of the absolute best drivers.
Yeah,
So, um, yeah, yeah, I hope that comes.
I hope so too, because I have seen a few uh, parts of Formula 2, and looks pretty exciting, actually.
Yeah. Well, the last thing I want to mention from Austria is up to this race, we'd had 3 drivers on 0 points, both the Williams and Antonio Giovinazzi of Alfa Romeo. That's no longer the case because Giovinazzi finished 10th, got his first point, and that's not so nice to say.
Yeah, because he has been a disappointment in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and looking at Raikkonen, the car is good enough to get points. Like he's been up there several times. So it's nice that Giovinazzi's finally had gotten his first point on the table. And now we'll see what that can carry him.
Hopefully,
But
hopefully he can get some more points.
now let's move on to the upcoming British Grand Prix, and we're going to start off by going through the circuit. Now, this is the Silverstone circuit, one of the more well-known tracks, I would say. The first race was held in 1950, and this is a track with 18 corners over 5.8 kilometers or 3.6 miles, and the drivers drive it for 52 laps in a race. Now, there has been talk coming into this year that this might be the last year that there's going to be an F1 race on Silverstone. But actually, earlier today, on the day we're recording this, they actually signed the FA and the owners of the circuit or whatever signed a new 5-year deal to keep F1 racing there until at least 2024. So Silverstone won't be going away just yet. Now, if we go into the circuit, you start off with 2 corners actually at full speed, both turn 1 and 2, while 3 is a very heavy braking zone and a little tricky section, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5 into the first DRS straight, which then brings you the first. It's not as good of a passing opportunity, even though it's a DRS, because of the high speed turn 6 upcoming. so you can't really outbrake anyone into it. So it's very difficult, but it's still a DRS straight. Coming around a hairpin, a very open hairpin, turn 7, and onto the old starts straight in between turn 8 and turn 9. Then a strong right hand into a part of the track called Maggots and Beckett's, turn 10 to 14, which is quite quick left to right to left to right to left corners. And it's a very tricky, and it's actually very liked by the drivers as a very challenging piece of the circuit, and to hit the apex of each corner. So this is actually a passing opportunity if someone can't really hit that apex, because then it's very easy to lose pace and have to redirect your car around this. So really interesting thing to watch. Then on to the second DRS straight, very much longer, very much better to overtake, into a harder braking zone 15, and then going into a tricky last part of 16, 17, 18, and onto the start-finish straight. Now, if you quickly look on some things that happened last year, we can start by the winner being Sebastian Vettel. And he started quite high up, but most of the race actually Bottas was in the lead. But right when Marcus Ericsson crashed on lap 31, Mercedes decided to stay out while Vettel came in for new tires to try to push and really lose the position on the track, but still be able to push through to the end of the race. And the gamble worked out. He finished first. Bottas had to let Hamilton pass, as Hamilton was way ahead in the driver's standings already at this point. And Hamilton managed to get a second. Raikkonen overtook Bottas, finished third. But yeah, this was what I believe, the first time we actually saw Hamilton getting ahead of Bottas just because of the driver's standings. And I don't think it is that this year. It's only 31 points in it between Hamilton and Bottas. But still.
Yeah, they seem to be allowed to fight.
Yeah. And I really hope that they're allowed to fight for as long as possible. I know that this is Hamilton's home race, and he is first in the driver's standings. But I hope that doesn't give Hamilton a free pass, so to speak, against Bottas. But they're actually allowed to race even here.
I hope so too. But the last race, or last year, was kind of interesting in that way that the DNFs kept happening.
Yeah, 6 of them.
That's like in Monaco, usually.
Yeah. We already touched upon one, Marcus Ericsson, lap 31. Before that, we had Leclerc on lap 18, whose engine stopped working right after he came out of the pits. And Hartley actually had problems even getting to the start line. He had some problems with the car, and he only managed one lap before they retired the car. Then Grosjean and Sainz in a crash on lap 37, and Verstappen's car just stopped working on lap 46. So, yeah. But that was really last year.
Yeah. So if we go into this year,
what do we think?
What do you think about it?
What happened? Well, I'm going to start with Maggots and Beckett's, because that is, as said, a very tricky but fun to drive, apparently. Interviews with drivers. Fun part of the track to ride. And I think that part is going to heavily favor Mercedes because of how good they are in all types of corners. And they're going to be able to hug the inside of the corner every single time, don't lose any pace. I'm not sure if Ferrari is going to be able to do that. And then it's Hamilton's home race. I think Hamilton is going to win this. I think Mercedes is once again going to finish on top. Um, then I don't know, because even though Leclerc has showed himself better than the Ferrari car sometimes showing it to be somehow. He's been really good at getting out the best out of that car, I feel like. So he might challenge Bottas for a second place. I don't think Red Bull will be in it. Maybe it might be an interesting fight, actually, Mercedes Ferrari, but yeah, still, I think Hamilton is going to win it.
I think so too, but I'm hoping he won't. I'm hoping
Yeah.
for Vettel to be able to take this one.
That would be cool, just like last year
Yeah, we need it for the
when he got ahead of
excitement
Hamilton.
of it, but I think Hamilton will win, then Vettel, then Verstappen.
Oh, you're going for the three team number ones.
Yeah, and I'm going for actually Magnussen beating Russell.
Yeah. That is almost, yeah. I'm sorry I laugh at it, but it's it's kind of sad that that's what is like a thing that we can talk about now.
Yeah,
Is Magnussen gonna beat Russell this time? Like,
that's really sad.
it is really sad, and yes, I really hope he does. But I don't know enough about the strengths and weaknesses of the either car. I've more heard about the top cars, what they're good at, because that's what people talk about. So I don't know if this circuit is special for either of those cars, for the Haas or for the Williams. Um, but I can probably agree that he's going to be down there.
Yeah, like
Um,
I think he will
but
beat
yeah,
Russell this time. I
yeah.
think we have another point for our little friend Giovinazzi here.
Mm.
'Cause I think he will go for another one. I just have a feeling of it.
Yeah, well, I could definitely see McLaren continuing,
Yeah,
going on to seventh and eighth, probably locking out the best of the rest, as usual. I feel like this season, unless something happens, unless there's a grid penalty perhaps, or something that's going to stop them to start the race in a good positions. But if they get to start in the top 10, both of them, I think seven or eight are theirs to take. Maybe even challenge Gasly for that sixth place, just like they did or just like Norris beat him to it in Austria. I can even see them beating him. Yeah.
yeah, but if I'm going to do some weird thing here, I'm actually like I'm holding to that. Giovinazzi takes a point, Magnussen beats Russell, and the top three
Okay.
in combo.
Yes.
That should be hard. And sorry,
Yeah.
Magnussen, for like doubting you even in one way.
Yeah.
This wasn't
I,
supposed to be a thing in the beginning of the season. That Magnussen between Russell and Kubica. That
no, it
wasn't
really
supposed to
shouldn't
be
have
a
been.
thing.
No, it should have been Giovinazzi there,
Yeah,
looking at
exactly.
how Alfa Romeo was at the start of the season.
Yeah,
But they have become better, and the Haas have become drastically worse.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna make one little insane prediction just because I thought about it, and I felt like there's a kind of a pattern reoccurring. So I'm gonna say it doesn't matter how many DNFs, but Kubica is going to be the last of the finishing drivers. Ahead of him, Magnussen. Ahead of him, Russell. Ahead of that, a random driver, and ahead of that, Grosjean. That's going to be my.
A random driver, really.
Yeah, it can be anyone. I don't want to lock that in, but I want to lock the rest of it in. Kubica, Magnussen, Russell, random, Grosjean. Because it was that in Austria. It was like that in. I don't remember where else it was, but it felt like this isn't the first time it happens. Um, so I'm actually gonna go for that.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, but
And this is even a weirder one. I actually think, in some weird way, in some weird alternate universe, Williams will take a point before the season is ending.
I really hope they do.
Yeah, me too. I'm really hoping for it.
Yeah, absolutely, Russell. He's been good enough.
He deserves it.
Yeah, and yeah, it's kind of sad that it's been going so badly for Kubica. And I'm starting to think it's just not the car because he's often far behind Russell in the races, and he's only beaten Russell once in quali this entire season. Although that was very recently. I don't know if it was for the Austrian or for the French, but it was one of those where he beat Russell in qualifying. Um,
Yeah, but in the races, Russell is like number one.
yeah. Actually, it wasn't even in the race. Yeah, it was actually in the race in France that Kubica finished above Russell, actually, even.
Wow.
So, yeah. I remember their fight in the back of my head playing, like, oh, yeah, that happened. Uh,
But like, if I say what I hope for, I want either the best thing would actually be in one way, Vettel double Red Bull.
yeah, but that's not going to happen.
Or Verstappen double Ferrari.
That is more likely.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like, or don't think possible about the Vettel to Red Bull is his Gasly.
Yeah.
I've even heard a rumor. I don't know if this is a real thing yet or not, but it's been rumored that Red Bull is starting to think about replacing Gasly. This might be just gossip. It might be news talk. I don't have actually a source for this because I can't remember where I heard it from. Sorry. But if it is true, then he's running on borrowed time almost.
Yeah, and I had really high
And
hopes for him before the season.
yeah, and I still think he has a positive future. Like he is a fast driver. He showed that last year in Toro Rosso. Now he's not been able to get that out of the car this year, and yes, he's compared to Verstappen, the best driver on the grid. I said it again. But yeah, he has not even showed it against other cars like McLaren in last race. And earlier this season,
And
he's
the
not
Red Bull should be able
even
to take the McLaren.
he's not locking in that sixth place, even the worst out of the top three teams. Which always happened last season, I would say, except for the weird races, of course, like Baku and like Monaco, and places like that. But otherwise, it was always Ferrari two cars, Mercedes two cars, and Red Bull two cars in the top six. That isn't the thing this year because Gasly can't keep up.
No, he seems like really being lacking behind. He can't. He can't.
Yeah,
do it.
he's a little bit on the deep end, if you put it that way. So. Yeah, I hope he gets it together. I hope he stays because, as I said, I think he has a brilliant future. So, and I
Still have
don't
high
think
hopes.
anything that could replace him. Like my first thought is Kvyat coming back to Red Bull, and he's been good. But at the same time, I would rather just still have Gasly there. So,
Yeah, he has more potential for the future in my opinion.
yeah, I think so too.
Kvyat is like that's an investment now, right now, in the moment.
Yeah, but then actually he was very questioned coming into this season when Toro Rosso announced that they would sign him for this upcoming season. Like, what are they doing? Don't they remember what happened the last two times they gave him a shot? But he's been, I would say, better than that at least I anticipated when I heard that he would join them. So I've been possibly surprised by Kvyat, but I still don't think he
Yeah,
deserves
he's
the Red
not a
Bull seat at this
torpedo
point.
after all.
Yes and no. He's still the aggressive driver. He is still Verstappen in that sense. They're very similar as drivers, which is a fun thing to think about. They are very similar in the aggressiveness, but they both had to learn not to be as aggressive. Now, for Verstappen, he managed to do that while still in Red Bull, and he had to learn F1. He had to learn to race really with Red Bull. So he learned that there. While Kvyat, when he was his torpedo at the height of his torpedo days, he got sacked, sent to Toro Rosso, and then he got released at the end of the season. So yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't think Kiat is a solution in that if that happens.
No, I don't think so. So I really hope that it's just a rumor that the newspapers have come up with, and they actually give Gasly the entire year.
I really hope so too.
Because, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you have anything more to add?
No, I'm feeling good.
So let's begin with the usual question. What's the next race after this?
You got me again.
Yes, it's Germany.
This, yeah. Oh, it's Germany. Cool.
Yeah, that's the next one.
That's gonna be.
And that's gonna be in like, what is it? 2 weeks time, 2 weeks if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. And then just 1 week after that, we actually have the Hungary Grand Prix.
Hungary Grand Prix, yeah. Then we have a break actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then there's the summer break.
Yeah.
So it's a gap between the 4th of August and the 30th, when the first day of the Belgian Grand Prix.
Yeah. But we will be back
But yeah.
before the German Grand Prix with
Yes.
another podcast. But yeah, it's been fun recording as usually. I hope you had as fun listening. But yeah, that's all for this time. We'll see you in 2 weeks for the German Grand Prix. Thank you for us. Bye.
Bye.